As 2014 winds down, the 2015 Pastoral Plan for the Archdiocese of Atlanta is going through the final stages. Deanery-level final recommendation meetings are coming to a close, as 3 or 4 parishioners from each parish and their pastor attended one of 10 meetings. These meetings are near the end of a long process, as Peter Folletti, the Director of Planning and Research, explains.
The whole process has been a bottoms-up process. We started with asking people through surveys, both the Vatican survey in December and our own survey in March, what they thought the issues were, what they thought we ought to be discussing. We received a combination of almost 20,000 responses from those surveys, those 2 surveys. We analyzed those responses and determined that there were 4 major issues, each with many dimensions that we needed to pursue.
Those 4 major issues are knowing our faith, living our faith, spreading our faith, and evolution of our parishes. Parishes then gave their recommendations on how to address these important topics.
And now what this process is doing is taking all those recommendations, trying to discern through that pile and say, these are the things that we really ought to focus on for the next 3 to 5 years.
The way that is being achieved is by a voting system. When it was time to vote on a certain topic, each voter was able to anonymously punch the number that corresponded to their choice, and instantly the results were shown on the screen. Before each vote, a mix of different parishes at each table discussed a topic for approximately 7 minutes. It was a way for them to voice their concerns or viewpoints, but to also hear what other parishes may be experiencing.
We're not alone in our parish journey as well. The other families around our deanery here that I've come to know this as, those down the street are having the same struggles, the same problems, and we can truly overcome it when we bind together.
To keep your faith growing, you need a support system, and this is what I have here. It's a support system, people from different backgrounds, different parishes, but still of the same faith. So it's very, very important.
We're hearing many of the same things at each of the meetings, whether we're holding them in Dalton, or in Cleveland, or in Douglasville, or in Conyers, or here in Atlanta. Many of the choices that these groups are making are the same choices.
After a few rounds of voting, the top 2 or 3 vote getters from each round were then combined to further narrow the topics until between 3 and 5 recommendations for each issue were determined.
I mean, we're trying to understand what they believe is needed and obviously what they would support. If in fact we wanted to promote a program to address a particular part of an issue, we want to be sure that the whole Archdiocese is working on the issue, not just a few people here, a few people there. It's not a chancery issue, it belongs to everybody.
After the 10 deanery meetings, the priest convocation, and another vote from the permanent deacons and religious of the Archdiocese, all the results will be presented to Archbishop Wilton Gregory.
At that point, he will address formulating the final plan, and from there we will obviously go into implementation in the coming years.
They're listening, right? And that's fantastic. Anytime leadership can listen, it's a wonderful, awesome thing. And to say that plan is something that I can buy into, because we gave feedback into that. And that plan is something that not only do I need, but all the other parishes that were at my table, I know they need it too. And to see that direction that we're all going to go forward with together is very powerful for all of us.
The process was meant for each parish to be able to take part and for them all to have input on what they believe should be focused on for the pastoral plan.
They're an important part of the church. We need the lay people. We need where it's a team, so the priest needs to work well with the lay people. So it was very important to hear their voice, and I learned a lot from just listening to the lay people at the table and what's going on in their parishes, what the best practices are and so forth. So it's very important to hear what they're saying and what their views of how we can move forward.
So I think it's really important that our leaders our leaders hear our voice and maybe make some adjustments along the way to how they approach things. Not change the message. Please don't change the message. We've got to have that steady moral compass, take us away from the world and keep us pointing back to the Lord and back to Jesus.
From start to finish, the Archbishop wanted to hear from the flock he shepherds. And when the new year brings a new pastoral plan, it is important they feel like their needs are being heard and met.
So it's an exciting time for the church, and I think people, and from what I heard today, from the lay people and from everyone, was that you know, there was that consensus that it's a new springtime.
What I'm finding today is that we are really pretty much in sync with a lot of the issues as to what we think we need to take back to our parish, what we would like to see our pastoral ministry get involved in. So I'm looking forward to the outcome very, very enthusiastically.